this is just ready?
Yeah.
3-point lighting is 3 positions. A key light right here is your main light that you're going to have your subject face towards. A fill light comes at an angle to the subject and fills in shadows across their face. That's the second light. And a can light helps to give a glow on the side of their head. This is not always necessary. You can use 2 lights. You can even just use 1 light. But if you've got 3, it's ideal to have a 3-point setup. So we've got these lights pretty high up. They're not fully extended, but higher is better. We'll show you a couple examples in a little bit here of some positioning that may not be ideal. It will give you shadows in the background. We're in the corner of a room here, so not perfect, but we've got a neutral background, so that would work or help. If we can have a background that falls off and is dark, so imagine shooting in a large space like the theater or the gym where the lights were out, we could just control the lighting using these 3 lights. Right now we have room lights on as well. The key light we have set on max intensity. Okay, so this is the brightest setting possible. This fill light over here, we have dialed on max intensity as well, but it's about twice as far away from the subject, okay? And then the fill light we have dialed down here to its lowest setting, so 1, 2. Okay, so this is lighting with room lighting, kind of helping it. There isn't rules necessary for lighting. There's guidelines in order to get you somewhere that looks good, that's close. So if Riley touches the screen right now to just adjust the exposure, he can touch my face and see that it changes, or touch the background and see that the exposure changes. You may have to adjust your camera's exposure because there might be hotter spots. If foreheads are really bright or white, then you need to dial down the intensity of the lights, move the lights back. So if I shift the lights back right now, this is about 3 feet each. And we jump in and see if there's any difference. This would be with the lights moved back to about 8 to 10 feet. Your crop on this should be probably elbows up. Usually for an interview, you might start a little wider, but you'd be in pretty tight on somebody for an interview. And then positioning wise, you can have them move based on shadows. If there's shadows under their eyes that you want to avoid, or any negative shadows, you can help get rid of those. I'm going to shut the room lights off. And now if we look at this again, the lighting may be a little more intense, which is good if we want to, if it's an emotional impact that we want to have, or if we're looking to eliminate background distractions. Again, if we could shoot from this direction towards the opposite end of the room, we'll take a look at what that looks like too. Okay, so we just flipped around in the room here. I don't know how dark the background is, but sometimes if we want to eliminate that background or just not have that part of the shot, it doesn't matter. And we can control, just with distance, we can control what's in the background here if we don't have a neutral background. So we've essentially flipped our lights here. We have a key light here. I'm facing towards the key light. We have a fill light facing in, filling in shadows on my face, and a backlight here to give me some kind of glow on the flow. That's what we're looking for here. A little bit of accent on the hair. So if I turn that light out, can we see any difference without the backlight? Okay, and if I go to 1 light, cut this one down, and just go to my key light, what can we see as a difference now for lighting? That's the essence of 3-point lighting. Again, there aren't any rules, so if we were going to interview somebody on spot and we only had 1, we could line up with the light here. Let me turn the other 2 out. There we go. So an interview light, this is really intense, right? This is kind of like the nighttime news, eyewitness news light. But if we turn the room lights on in here, and we use this light to enhance what we have for an interview, and you're interviewing over here with the subject or something, this right now should be pretty decent, versus if I shut this light off and we just use what we have normal as the overhead lighting, black bags under my eyes, kind of nothing separating me from the background, pretty blah what we're normally used to. Okay, one other example of using artificial light to enhance our subject or composition would be a situation like this where we have outdoor lighting. In this case, we've got a big, essentially we can consider this a key light or a fill light, but it's a light source coming in from outside. Right now it's diffused because it's cloudy. We probably wouldn't want to be in direct sunlight and try and have this light compete with direct sunlight, because the direct sunlight is going to win. It's just way too strong. But this is a situation where we've got light from outside, actually light from above, and we've got a light we can help fill in here. And the difference between this right now, and if I shut this off, at any rate, there's going to be a change or a difference. So when we can add light in and fill, and I'll also just move this light back a little bit more. So it's right next to him now, and I'll go about 10 feet away. We can just move these around, freely position the subject, tell them to move closer, move the light closer, move closer to the window. Essentially, it's a lot of trial and error. And then he would consider his background too, like, do I have a neutral background? Is there a shadow behind me on the wall? If so, we could move the camera this way a little bit and adjust. These lights apparently are pretty bright, 1500 lumens for what that's worth. So the further we move back, the more diffused, the more spread out they're gonna be, and it'll just add an effect instead of so intense. How's it now? Better?
It's better.